Hi, and thanks for watching. I'm Michael Alden. Folks, today we have what will most likely be the most controversial yet informative programs to date. My guest today is a world-renowned paranormal expert, particularly within the world of extraterrestrials. He has appeared on hundreds of radio and television programs. He has a weekly radio show on Sirius XM satellite and is a regular guest of The Howard Stern Show. He has written a groundbreaking book that really blows the lid off of what we know and understand about other life forms. He claims that we as a human race are on a destructive path, and he's been given information from other life forms outside of this galaxy about our imminent future. Folks, whether you believe in other life forms or if you're concerned about our future, you're not going to want to miss this next half an hour. Please help me welcome Mr. Riley Martin. Riley, thanks for being my guest.
Thanks for having me, Michael.
You know, Riley, again, I mentioned it in the opening. You've been on, you have your own radio program. Right. You've been on hundreds of other radio programs. You've been on other television programs. You're a frequent guest of The Howard Stern Show. You wrote this book called The Coming of Tan. Tell us a little bit about your past and how you actually came to writing this book, because again, you talk about it in the beginning, but
right.
you lack the formal education, but yet you wrote a close to a 500-page book. Mm-hmm. How did this happen?
Okay, I was born in the state of Mississippi. My family was poor sharecroppers, so to speak. They moved across the river into northeastern Arkansas, and it was there in 1953 at the age of 7 that I was visited and taken aboard an aerial ship that is not of this earth. I did not come to attempt to scare people, right, or anything of that nature. In fact, it is my desire that we can use our technologies and things of this nature to start to right this planet before it's too late and things like this.
So you talk, we were talking earlier in the green room that, again, you claim that you were visited by these Avians, which is another life form, and they took you to their mothership at the age of 7.
At the age of 7.
Now, most people would think that that is just, again, something just spectacular and really a figment of your imagination, right?
Well, yeah, well, you might think that. Nonetheless, it's highly unlikely that I would have known the location of a great edifice out near the planet Saturn, not Pluto, Saturn, that has been verified by the Cassini-Huygens some 20 years after I wrote the book.
Is that the space probe from NASA?
Yeah, from NASA. And of course, no doubt, NASA knows its location. Astronauts have seen their ships. The ships paced them to the moon and stood off and looked at them, which has been revealed by an astronaut, and things of this nature. But I was talking about these things and the locations and what have you for many, many years.
Now, again, your book is, it's about your kind of experiences from the age of 7 up until now. Why you? Why would these beings pick you to essentially give us this message?
Well, down through history, at crucial times in history, be it agricultural, scientific, or theologically, or what have you, people have been sent to give, to enhance, to give messages of some sort, be it religious or otherwise, technologically, you understand?
Sure.
For instance, George Washington Carver took the lowly peanut and made 163 different products out of it, thereby saving the South.
But isn't that just the basic understanding of like agriculture? I mean,
well, I mean, but you have to understand at the time George Washington Carver did it, nobody was doing it and didn't understand that much about it. They just let the land lay fallow.
So you're saying that he was given information from...
I'm saying he was given it from somewhere. If somebody didn't know something about something, heaven and earth would pass away.
But wouldn't
just scrutinize the work, see?
Again, the information in your book, it's if anything, it's entertaining. I'll say that, and it's also informative. But you must feel like it's almost somewhat of a curse. I mean, you have to. I mean, let's face it. I mean, you've been ostracized sometimes, and people really don't treat you with the respect that you deserve, right? From this message. I mean,
well, yeah. But you see, from the time I was about 17 until around the age 21, I was an illegal bare-knuckle fighter. So I'm not easily dissuaded, because I believe that a fool and his philosophy is soon parted. If I have done a show for nearly 7 years And no one, physicist or not, has been able to shut my mouth or to tell me that what I'm saying is not possible or has not been revealed or is not theoretically possible or what have you, then I shut up. But that has not happened. If you know what you're talking about, you do not have to create it. If you know the information that you're talking about, it's difficult to remember a consistent group of lies over years.
Sure.
I know this information, and I invite anyone upon the planet, scientists or not, to scrutinize this work and see if it's worthy.
Now, again, that 1 minute of just you speaking right there, again, someone who got their GED, no formal education, that information was given to you from, I mean, how did you learn this stuff?
Oh, my goodness. I had the best teachers in the world. For instance, they downloaded into my neurosynapses in about, the audience fit me with a headset, downloaded not only the history of humanity, but 144,000 different symbols, and they took about 14 seconds.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about the symbols in a minute, which are essentially a ticket to this mothership you're talking about.
And so, on my show, anyone in the world, well, scientists or not, can call in. I do not set the calls up and I'll screen them, can call in and ask me questions. I am able to quite literally access that information because I cannot anticipate what they're going to ask.
Sure.
You see what I'm talking about? Because I have been given this information.
Sure.
Certainly I'm not a scientist. I didn't go to MIT or anything like that, but I know what I'm talking about because it was given to me by people who are not of this world.
Well, it's hard for me to understand that because what you're saying is they're telling you and they've given you information that we're on this destructive path. It seems like it could potentially happen this year, and a lot of other people are, again, in complete hysteria about this. Why not just give us a little bit of the information that just to stop it, to prevent it?
I intend to communicate with them, and I believe, since it's not of this earth, certain cosmic happenstances such as meteors and things of that nature, perhaps they will help me with that. And down through history, I believe they have sent others at crucial times to bring us, religions, architecture, animal husbandry, agriculture, etc., as times went by. So I believe they have helped us from time to time, but they're not going to give us the key to faster than light speed and time travel and stuff like that when we are not, we can't get along with our neighbor across the street, let alone across the galaxy.
One of the big themes again throughout your book is the ecology in Earth, and it's being destroyed. The ozone layer, the waters and things of this nature are being destroyed. Is there some sort of technology that they have? Because you describe in Biavia, the planet, that their planet is this utopian place with no pollution, no crime.
Because they have been able to go off planet to do their manufacturing and things of this nature, and many of the moons and things like that around them, they no longer do it at home anymore. We're not capable of doing that here. Nonetheless, there are so many things that we are capable of. We can run your cars without fossil fuels. We can make the desert bloom, and greenhouse growing and hydro growing and things like that. What I'm saying is that we can more or less transpose into a hydrogen-driven society, so to speak.
I mean, they're telling you that we're on this destructive path. I mean, why not just give us a little bit of help? Like this fusion technology we're talking about. Why not just give us that technology?
What I'm saying. See, if we gave you, you'll eventually get it. But on your own, you'll eventually, theoretically, believe you know how it's done. If they gave you too much too quick, you would, as in the past, man has never created anything that he did not, if possible, weaponize, and never created a weapon that he did not use.
So what you're saying is if they've given us technology throughout the history of mankind, but we've used it improperly?
Well, certainly. We have never gained a new power source or anything of that nature that we did not abuse, so to speak, nor a weapon nor even a philosophy or a religion.
I want to talk to you about, you'd mentioned it earlier, and we talked a lot about it in the green room, these symbols that have been, you claim have been downloaded into your brain. I want to talk about that in just a moment. Folks, we've only been speaking with Riley Martin for a few minutes, but again, if you're interested in learning more about his experiences and the information that he claims has been given to him from other life forms not on this world, then pick up the phone and give us a call. Again, Riley's book, The Coming of Tan, is informative, it's entertaining, and it's really just eye-opening. You know, whether you believe in other life forms or whether you believe we as a human race are on a destructive path, this book is a must-read. Folks, I've read this book, and it will really change the way you think about our planet, its future, and other life forms. This book is not available in stores, and it's available exclusively on our television program today. Plus, we've actually worked out a special arrangement with Riley where you receive a substantial savings off the regular price of the book. And if you call if you do call within the next 2 minutes, we'll actually ship you the book absolutely free. Oh, and when you do call, we're going to talk about this in just a minute. When you do call, ask about how you can actually get your symbols.
Right.
And these symbols, Riley claims, are essentially your ticket to the mothership when and if that ever happens. Again, you dispel, you decide on your own whether or not these things are a reality, but there are a finite number of them, correct?
Right. There are a finite number. And people have attested to the fact it's more than just a ticket, good man. People have attested to the fact that positive things, elements have happened since they got their symbol and what have you. So it's more than simply a ticket and what have you. There are many powers within it, and I'm not even sure myself what they all are. But I know that I do not do negative. It's positive all the way down. And each and every symbol is totally unique. It's unique. There are no two symbols ever the same.
Sure.
And I've done tens of thousands.
Now, there is a finite number of these symbols,
right.
144,000. Why 144,000?
Well, we believe that if we can get 144,000 more or less heads of families and their loved ones of all races, creeds, colors, sexes, and what have you, that they will have enough of a genetic diversity to literally rebuild the entire human race. So
it's a mathematical thing,
essentially. Yeah, it's a mathematical thing. It's not per se a theological or religious thing.
My question, though, is if you were to sit here and draw these symbols from now until eternity, can you get to 144,000?
I have tried to compute simply because.
How long does this take?
Someday I'll do 10.
Yeah.
Someday I won't do but 4.
Okay.
Or what have you. So I cannot compute it all the way down. Nonetheless, I've done thousands, and I believe that by the time I finish, should I finish, that will be the end.
Now, we're talking about, again, these symbols in essentially, and we talked about it earlier, you call it, I think, the Great Lift or something.
The airlift, like that. Yeah.
The airlift. When is that supposed to happen?
If necessary, it will happen possibly in late 2012.
That is frightening.
Yeah, but I'm hopefully not. I was not sent here to frighten people and tell them, hey, you're going to die. I was sent here to say, hey, you're killing the planet. Let's get together and not kill it and don't have to go up in the sky or whatever.
Again, it's got to be somewhat terrifying. The information you're presenting in a way that's,
right.
It's not terrifying. But when you actually think about what we're talking about here, you're talking about people being lifted up from this planet at some point in time.
Of course.
Now, again, in your book, it's fantastical. It's somewhat seems like a science fiction movie. Some of the passages that are in there. I got to be honest with you. What you're saying and the way you're describing and what's in the book, it seems like you may be suffering with some sort of grandiose psychosis.
Well, if I am, it has passed the scrutiny of Stephen Hawking and others.
Stephen Hawking?
Yes.
Really?
And others. What I'm saying is that no one has come forth and say, hey, he's stupid.
Right.
So what did I do? Through some type of etheric osmosis, gain it's such a delusion as to where then I know what the heck I'm talking about, and what have you. So that's refuted.
So have you actually spoken to anyone? Have you been analyzed by psychologists, or because the information you're providing, I think, is interesting, and I think someone would want to at least from academia at least talk to you.
Nonetheless, I invite any academician to read my work, come on my show, meet me for coffee,
Sure.
and show me the stupidity of the error of my concepts and things of this nature. It would be very difficult to retain and continue to put forth such a complicated scheme of things if you're lying.
Right.
I have been there.
Now, we mentioned again. You talked about Ezekiel and some others that have again biblical significance.
Right.
How do you reconcile God? I mean, did God create these beings?
Well, I'm sure that God created them too.
Okay.
He created them, the fish, the arachnids, the snake, and what have you.
You and I were talking earlier, and you claimed that the Pope's astronomer also acknowledged other life?
Acknowledged that we are not alone. Why? Because he would have been lying if he said he hadn't seen the ships.
The Pope's astronomer.
Yeah, of course. It's public knowledge.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's talk about again what's going on right now in the world, and you talk a lot about it in the book. I want to know. I mean, you're somewhat giving information and trying to predict what may happen in the future, but there's no solution other than.
We have the ability to bring forth the solution.
Well, why don't you know?
Did I not say that we could do these things, but what we are is stuck on stupid and thievery and gluttony and monopolization and things of this nature?
Riley, in a minute, I'm sure our viewers want to call in. In a minute, I want to talk to you more specifically about your experience on this mothership that you've been on, and tell me a little bit about your interactions with these other different aliens in just a moment. Folks, we've only been speaking with Riley Martin for a few minutes, but if you're interested in learning more about his experiences and the information that he claims has been given to him from other life forms, not from this world, then pick up the phone and give us a call. Again, Riley's book, The Coming of Tan, is informative, it's entertaining, and it's really just eye-opening. Whether you believe in other life forms or whether you believe we as a human race are on a destructive path, this book will really change the way you think about our planet, its future, and other life forms. His book is not available in stores, and it's only available exclusively on our television program. Plus, we've actually worked out a special arrangement with Riley where you'll receive a substantial savings off the regular price of the book. And if you call in the next 2 minutes, we'll actually ship you the book absolutely free. Oh, and when you do call in, we talked about this as well. When you do call in, ask about how you can get your symbol. There's a finite number of these. Riley mentions the number of 144,000.
The symbol you get, good people. No one else on earth would have a symbol exactly like yours, no matter who you are.
So they're essentially like a snowflake, Riley claims it's more than just a ticket to the mothership. It's also going to bring you, good luck and prosperity.
I believe so. People have attested to the fact that good, positive things have been happening to them, and what have you. I did not necessarily promise this. All I said was I do not do negative, and I do what. The symbols are positive in all aspects, and the throw weight of the positiveness in the symbols parallels my love for humanity, my tears shed for this Mother Earth, my wish that we could sit at the table, even with those who call themselves our enemies, and come to terms, some kind of terms, and things of this nature. So all that's imbued within the symbols.
Now,
see what I mean?
The symbols, one of the things that I've noticed about them is, they're all unique, but they seem to have somewhat of a common theme.
Yeah, there's relativity to that.
Explain.
There's a relativity to our thought patterns, our motivations and things of that nature. They are designed for humans. And therefore, there is a relativity to them. Each and every human are not so far different than the next. So there's a relativity to them.
Okay.
But no two are exactly the same.
Now, you talk about your first experience when you were 7 and how you were visited, but you were physically restrained and obviously somewhat scared in the very beginning. What's the purpose of these, of the Biavians in particular, of taking us up into their mothership and experimenting with us? Because it's got to be terrifying.
Well, I mean, otherwise, nobody hurt me or anything of that nature. And they answered any question. I'm the type of a guy.
But they essentially dissected you. I mean,
Yeah,
from
well,
what you say. I mean,
what I'm saying is that, yeah, if they had killed me, I wouldn't be here talking to you, would I? And all the rest of the people who say they have been visited or abducted, they ain't dead, are they?
Right.
So apparently the aliens did not want to kill them.
Now, why Earth? I mean, obviously we know, and this is a scientific fact, that we know that there are, hundreds, if not thousands of planets. We all can agree on that. But why Earth? I mean, did they visit other places? Did they, bring others from up into the mothership?
Taken from the Latin, e pluribus unum. The Earth is simply one among many.
Okay.
Of living planets. We happen to be in the quadrant that the Beovians are fond of, or what have you, but we are certainly not the only place they visited, living planet that they visited.
What seems to be the fascination with human beings and Earth? I mean, is there something that's unique about us?
Yeah, well, something is quite unique about human beings. Humans are quite fascinating, even if only as a study in aberrant behavior.
Right.
And just like he said, friend Martin, do not despair of your species. There have been some among you who have levitated, who have walked on water, who have gave sight to the blind, healed the sick, and some say even raised the dead.
Yeah, again.
Yeah, you see what I'm talking about.
You just referenced some of the most prolific things that happen in the Bible. Right. And so what are you saying?
Well, the Bible is your history, more or less your history book.
But the Bible is what you're saying is almost as a result of alien beings, really, right?
Not all of it, good man.
Well, the resurrection of Christ is basically what you just said.
Well, possibly.
Walking on water, right?
Yeah, well, the aliens, he might have done it by himself. How? Because he thinks that God, his Father, gave him those abilities, How does Chris Angel do all the stuff he do?
Well, that's magic. I mean,
I know you can say it's all magic, but it don't necessarily all have to be magic. There's another elemental there. I'm just saying that there are things that can transpire and do transpire that it does not fit into the matrix of your average science knowledge and things of this nature. Mm-hmm.
Here's the real question. If I were you, one of the things that I would want to do, again, because I think we've talked about this before and I've been pretty candid with you about it. I mean, some people don't treat you with the respect that you deserve. Some people think, again, that the things you're saying are just beyond belief and somewhat, just...
Well, I try to genteelly
advise
question. Anybody to try and have some respect for me at a given time.
But wouldn't you want to provide some sort of physical evidence that these beings exist? You're not pointing to things.
No, what I'm saying is that the Polaroid photos, but that's trivial.
Wait, let's talk about the Polaroid photos.
Yeah, Polaroid photos when they came over my car.
So you have
knocking out the electrical system in '87. I took 4 Polaroid photographs of them going away, circling around the mountain.
Let's actually. I want to show those on the screen.
You can do that. But what I'm saying is,
have those been verified? Have they been looked at by anybody to say whether or not
they are out there, son? Look at them and disprove them for anybody. I mean, I'm not Spielberg.
Right.
You understand? And this was many years ago. Anything that I say or do, you saying, okay, why should we believe you? Well, take into consideration my education, my origins, and then look at the information in the book. That is your proof. Could I have literally not only give you all this information, but stole and put the damn mothership out in their Saturn? Yeah. It's been proven now. What I'm saying is that read the information.
Right.
And then use your own judgment. And I've realized there's nobody in the world who's ever been able to convince all of mankind of nothing.
Because, again, it has to be terrifying that all of a sudden you wake up one day and you have all this information in your head, right?
Right. Well, it wasn't really truly terrifying. I tell you truly, good man, Mike, what they have taught me and shown me, I would not trade for all of the treasure in the world, yet I would not wish it upon my worst enemy.
That's pretty powerful. Riley, you know, we're actually running out of time.
Yeah.
You know, here's the question I really want to ask you, and maybe you can just tell our viewers directly, you know, why should someone, you know, pick up the phone and get the book and get the symbols? I mean, what is or is there a sense of urgency? Should someone do it now? I mean, we're in 2012.
Right,
the world's almost,
right.
Everyone says the world's over. Why should someone get the book?
Right. If you want to know information, people have down through history came and gave information that turned out to be dead on to some great extent. I believe that this information is dead on. I did not come to frighten you or anything. I'm giving you what I know, what has transpired with me. And unless I have surreptitiously went to MIT or something, or gained it, learned it from NASA or something of that nature, then perhaps it would behoove you to read this information and disseminate it yourself, and look at it objectively, and use your own intellect to see what's there, because when it's over for me, it's over, and my job is done, and I'm not going to stick around trying to convince you dumb if you don't go ahead and get the book.
Well, again, Riley, it's been an informative show. It's been entertaining, and I want to thank you.
Oh, forgive me, man. I know I'm
Hey, that's okay. That's what the bleeps are for. But
right.
you know, I want to thank you for being here, folks. You know, we've been speaking with Riley Martin. You know, he's a world-renowned expert in paranormal activity. He's appeared on hundreds of radio and television programs. He has his own radio show on Sirius XM satellite. He's also a frequent guest of the Howard Stern Show, folks. If you're interested in learning more about his experiences and the information that he claims has been given to him from other life forms, not from this world, then pick up the phone and give us a call. Again, Riley's book, The Coming of Tan, you know, the information in here is, if anything, it's entertaining, it's really eye-opening, and you know, whether you believe in other life forms or whether you believe we as a human race are on a destructive path, folks, this book is a must-read. You know, I've read this book, and it will really change, you know, the way you think about this planet, its future, and other life forms. You know, his book is not available in stores. It's only available exclusively on our television program. Plus, we've actually worked out a special arrangement with Riley where you receive a substantial savings off the regular price of the book. And if you call within the next 2 minutes, we'll actually ship you the book absolutely free. Oh, and when you do call, and we talked about this, when you do call, ask about how you can get your symbols. There's a finite number of these symbols, and if anything, folks, they're just beautiful artwork. And again, what Riley claims will come to you of these is just, again, really, really amazing. So pick up the phone and give us a call. Again, Riley, it's really been an amazing show.
Beautiful.
Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. You know what? We're going to have you back, I promise.
I'll tell you, you are a worthy adversary, my good man.
Well, thank you very much. My name is Michael Alden, and we'll see you next time.